Okay, we'll get started. Welcome, everyone. This is a Q&A session focused on Chef Automate, focusing on the visibility side of the product, and then the next session at 3 will be on the workflow side. So I'd like to introduce you to some of the team, starting with Tasha, and I think she'll introduce the others. Thanks.
Awesome. Hi, I'm Tasha Drew. I'm the product manager for our visibility and analytics platform. Hello? Okay. Hi, I'm Tasha Drew, and I'm the product manager for our visibility and analytics platform. As you all know, we launched that yesterday as part of Chef Automate. And yeah, this is Tom.
Hi, I'm Tom. I was the lead engineer on the visibility side of the Automate product, and this is...
Hey, I'm Chris. I'm mostly responsible for the compliance part in here. So back to Tasha.
And over here we have Mark, who is head of UX.
Hi.
So basically... So basically today we are briefly going to go over the product just because I don't know if many of you have seen much of it. So we're going to quickly show you the product, some mocks, some stuff we're building right now that we anticipate having included in the product within the next month, which we think is cool, which is our full compliance data integration. And then we are totally open for questions or whatever you all are interested in talking more about. Probably keep it pretty succinct.
I don't know what to say.
Okay.
So I'm just going to yell. So what I'm going to show you here is actually a series of mocks that emulate the actual experience of the product. But what this has in it that the product today doesn't is where we're going, let's say in the next month or so, which specifically is really around compliance. So if you saw the demo yesterday, then you know that essentially what this is a... With the screens that we're going to be looking at are screens that allow you to see sort of the state of your fleet and your nodes, whether things are passing or failing or missing or being skipped. And just the first thing I think I'd point out is that the way that data is getting in here is right now you're allowed to sort of look by all chef servers or select individual chef servers, and that will globally filter what you're seeing. The same is true with orgs as well. And if you come down here, you'll see this list, which is showing your nodes and their status in convergence. This radial is really just showing you the proportion of success and failure. And you can filter based upon these nav elements here. So essentially, if you wanted to see all of your failed nodes, you'd click here, and you'd be able to scroll through this list and see them. There's also this trend, which displays a few things. So one, what you're seeing is sort of hour over hour for the past 12 hours, what's converging and failing, but you're also seeing, based upon this right here, where cookbooks were uploaded or changes were delivered through workflow. And that's pretty much what we got to show here. You can also sort of filter by environment and role, but I think probably the most interesting features are up here in this area right here, because we've sort of developed a query language to allow you to put together more complicated queries based upon, let's see, what do we have in there? Resources, attributes, node names, recipes, cookbooks. That's it for now, right? And the plan is that this would be open so we can be able to add to it so that queries can become more and more robust over time. So that's essentially what this is about up here. There's also, a few other things. So the ability to go ahead and execute this. Save searches and also share them. So for instance, imagine you put together a query that then you filtered by environment or role and then only failed nodes, and you wanted to share exactly that with a colleague. So what we're allowing you to do is sort of click up here, click this, and essentially that link will be copied to your clipboard so you can share in whatever form that you would like for instance for an email or chat or whatever. And you could also save a search and be able to access it later. So that's what's going on here. Now the other part of this is compliance. So This is a similar dashboard to what you saw before, but this is in the context, your nodes in the context of their compliance state. So again, you can sort of see, here are all my uncompliance nodes, and here's sort of the scoring. So for instance, you have a series of checks that are critical. You can sort on these column headers, et cetera. And you can also, again, view when compliance profiles were uploaded or changes were delivered, and then click to view details. So that's what this is. And essentially, this is showing you a run history over here that you can filter on, and you can click through to see the individual runs and see a, what do you call it? Like, yeah, exactly. And view the full logs and the backtrace. And you can filter on these resources to see what the problem was and see the error for that. And that's what we have for now. We're moving towards building compliance into this as well, and that's where we're headed next.
Cool. And just from an integration perspective, basically right now we can collect data from all of your Chef servers, Chef clients, and Chef solos. And we gather data from the workflow aspect. So that's how you're seeing when changes are delivered through workflow. We do plan to expand on those visualizations in the next quarter or two. And we also are integrated with InSpec. And so the data integrations are in the back end, and we're working on delivering the front end visualizations that Mark just showed. And another aspect that we have is if you already have a dashboarding solution that you're really happy with and you just want all of the data that we're gathering, you can export directly to that using a very simple thing that we're calling a data tap, which is a queue of events that if you grab, you can export to another system. Do you guys want to go over anything?
You went over it pretty well.
Okay, cool. Does anyone have any questions off the top? Yes, green shirt.
So the compliance report exporting to a PDF or some form of executive report to where you could say, hey, here's the physical proof that it passed compliance.
That's an excellent question. I think we had that before in Chef Compliance as well. And that's especially what we're trying to achieve here. So visibility is collecting the reports and storing it also about history. So Chef Compliance is already good in showing you the current state, but the history feature was not awesome. So this is like something that we're looking forward to bring it in. So in specific, this is also coming down to how do we do PDF reports, how do we share that, and that is something that we that we have to consider properly. And the challenge here is though that normally you need to adapt it to your corporate needs, so you need to have a template for that. So it's that it sounds easy, but it's not. So and that's the challenge, to make it right and to make it adaptable to your specific needs, to make it customizable. And this is currently that we try to find out how to do it properly. So reach out to our sales team so that we can find out how we can deliver that.
Just quick show of hands for my own information. Who in here is currently using Chef Compliance? Cool. Yeah. And then who is currently using Chef Server? Okay. Both? Oh, cool. And then anyone use Chef Solo /0? Yeah, okay, cool. Awesome. So yeah, I mean, basically what we have in production today is very focused on the Chef Server, Chef Solos, and Chef Client data integrations. And then the compliance piece we anticipate we'll have out probably in the beginning of August. But for now, basically what you do is set up Chef Automate and then very easy system level integration. And we start collecting data from all of your endpoints and then displaying them the way you see here. Yes.
So does this connect each of the Chef servers and pull the data from there? But Chef Solo is, where do we point the data?
So the data collection mechanism is on Automate. There is a data collector endpoint, and it takes data being sent to it from your other products. So, for example, in the Chef client, there is some data collector configuration that you can configure, and you give it like a token and an endpoint, and it will send the requisite data to that endpoint. The same with the Chef server. So Automate isn't grabbing data from things, it's being sent data by things. So your Chef server is sending data to Automate. Correct. Yeah. So you can kind of do whatever networking magic you want to in the middle. It's just a RESTful API that all of the data is coming in on. Yep. So there's a 443 RESTful API on Automate that you send the data to, and then it goes into the back end.
So is there like a janitor or like, okay, because it's a push, so like since or whatever, your graph pipe, everything starts to get out of control unless you go in there and say, oh, those nodes that don't exist and haven't been reporting after X amount of time, go ahead and clean up. Is there any kind of janitor?
Not yet.
So we anticipate that we will be adding that very soon, especially with the attribute data. People love seeing all of their attributes in the system, and like I think that they're going to enjoy it for about a week, and then they're going to realize they only really need 3 of them, and they like to save a lot on storage. So we anticipate adding that functionality pretty soon.
Another question, just on the saved searches, is that shared or is that like saved?
The
Cookie thing?
The saved searches are saved to the backend database, so it's not cookie. So it's connected with your user account.
Yes.
Would you be able to connect third-party BI tools?
As an export? Yes. That's the data tab allows you to export the data to any third-party dashboarding tools that you want to. Yeah. In the back?
Yeah, the Chef server got a new HA. What are we looking at for HA with workflow and automate?
So that is in the roadmap and probably Q4 target. Yes.
So, from a paradigm perspective, I'm having trouble wrapping my head around what's happening because as an engineer, I don't ever look at a GUI, knife is my life, right? So I'm having, is this just not geared to me, or I'm coming at this the wrong way? Can you help me?
Do you want to talk through it?
Okay, so this interface is primarily geared towards ops practitioners rather than engineers per se.
Mark, will you use the mic?
So this interface is primarily geared towards ops practitioners rather than engineers per se. So for instance, a director of operations has a fleet of nodes that they have to monitor constantly, and that person then has a team that has to fix the problems that arise with that. Well, so this is primarily around where are my fires, and then what is the character of the fire for any series of individual nodes, right? So this may not speak to you. It's primarily not geared towards an application engineer.
So then this is for the people who are managing the work, not necessarily the people who are doing the work. Is that?
It could be both. In that sense, it could be both. But in a lot of ways, like it's geared somewhat more towards people who are managing the work.
Is it currently just on-prem, or are you guys going to offer this in a hosted manner too, like Hosted Chef?
Yeah, it's currently on-prem. We have made it out of the gate. We do allow you to use Elasticsearch as a service if you don't want to have Elasticsearch hosted in your data center. And we are looking at making it very cloud-friendly as part of some of our key operational deliverables. It's not part of the hosted offering currently. And we are looking at how to make it more of a cloud-first offering. So if you want it on-prem, you can have it on-prem, everything's on-prem, but then also having a hybrid model for people who want to use a lot of services and don't want to directly manage databases themselves, and then having a fully automated solution in the cloud for people who want that.
What's your timeline on a fully automated
My timeline for a V0 is by the end of the year. Yeah. Yes.
Talk a little bit about how access control is handled within the product,
Sure.
the concept of roles or anything like that.
So as of right now, the access control is observer. Everyone has observer privileges. There's really no write capabilities with this particular interface. In the future, we've discussed, but I don't know the specifics on timeline, around being able to limit certain views or certain information to different roles. But as of right now, there's no role-based access.
Is it related to the orgs that I'm a member of, so I can see whichever orgs I'm a member of, I can see what's going on in all of those orgs at the time? Or is it per org only that I can see?
You can see the sweep of all of them.
Right. Right now, you can see all of the data. You can see all of the data that's available in the system, not just the organizations that you belong to. Right now.
So from how is authentication handled then? Because I think historically it was through the Chef server, right?
The authentication right now is handled through the what was the delivery authentication, but is now kind of just the automate authentication, which can sync up with SAML and LDAP and all of that stuff. But this interface doesn't have its own role-based access or user accounts. It's the same. Automate has its user base, and those users get organized in whatever structure they're organized in at any given time. And right now, you get to see all of it.
So I'm thinking kind of in terms of a large organization where we have multiple orgs that are out there as I guess the chef admin.
Mm-hmm.
And we get asked a lot, how do we know what's going on all the nodes, on all the orgs?
Yeah.
I would be able to see that.
That is the default view right now.
Yeah, but if you want, you can save it within using either searches or user preferences. If you don't want to see all of it, you can drill down and we'll save those preferences.
If you wanted to limit somebody to seeing only their particular organization, you'd have to stand up a separate instance of this for your chef server and
That,
carry those chef clients.
for now, yeah, until we have RBAC, that would be the only way to do it. I guess I'm kind of curious on understanding a little more about that use case too. So it sounds like there is some need for only people who are part of an organization should be able to see data from that organization on the chef server.
I'm anticipating some clients that have wanted that.
Okay.
I can see that where you have a dev team and they just want to be able to get in and see, they got their own AWS account or whatever, and just be able to see their stuff, see how it's doing. Obviously with the knock or whatever to see the overall or the execs or whatever.
Cool. Yeah, that's good to know. We've been playing with the idea of RBAC, but because visibility is a read-only system, whereas the previous products had been write access, people were less worried about it, who we talked to. Yeah.
Just from an MSP perspective, right? It'd be handy otherwise I should have to spin up that instance for customers.
Yeah, I can definitely see that sort of chipping away at the value of having everything in one place if you have role requirements that keep that from actually being useful without them. So that's cool. In the back?
So I've got customers using policy files.
Uh-huh.
Hooks there that they would see advantages right now.
We've talked about policy files, but direct integration with that isn't on the roadmap right now just because not enough people have told us we're using them for it to be at the top of our hit list for an integration.
So if I have thousands of systems that are sub solo, sub zero, whatever, how do I bring all of that into this? So is it the data collector you're talking about? Is it agent based?
No. So the solo agent itself knows how to send data to automate, like in the Chef client binary itself. So there's no additional agent that you need to install to send the data to automate. The Chef client, that like the executable, the binary, just knows how to do it right out of the box as of I think 12.11 something.
So we can just go discover things?
It doesn't. You have to know there's like a config.d client, or sorry, the client.rb, there is some, you have to point it to the automate endpoint for the data collector and give it a security token to like, so that it's not just accepting all data from anyone. And then you just run and it'll send the data to it.
Oh, you push that to all the clients.
Yep. So all of your nodes that are running Chef Solo, you just either add the client.d sub configuration or modify the client.rb to add the data collector information, and it'll start sending that data.
Would you have to bootstrap them all?
You wouldn't have to bootstrap them, not with the new client.d stuff. So you can, if you already have like 10,000 nodes, you would just need to run some script that just iterates through them and drops off a file in a certain location, and it'll just work. That's how we did it internally. It's just a knife SSH with a whole bunch of stuff, but you can do an SSH loop of any kind.
So how often does it run? For you, it's a push, not a pull, as you said, right?
Right. So anytime the Chef client runs, it sends the data. So it's kind of like reporting. So reporting, it would send the data to reporting. And instead of sending the data to reporting, it's just sending it to visibility. So it runs when the Chef client runs. So it depends on how frequently you run it.
Yeah, yeah.
So right now, visibility seems to be aimed at the existing production infrastructure. Are there plans to make that available in sort of the development pipeline, the purchase way, so that I, sitting there on my machine, I run kitchen tests, and I also get, without having to do it, some sort of visibility into any problems that node would have in this context?
Yeah, I mean,
Prevent those red things from happening further.
so basically incorporate, are you thinking incorporate system level information into the workflow as you're making builds, or where are you thinking?
So I'm not familiar with the tool, but I would like to just know that I have these problems
Mm-hmm.
with the particular node that I'm converging before that cookbook makes it into the Chef server and thus affects the entire production infrastructure. I may be asking the wrong question. I'm
Yep.
still trying to build confidence.
That's right in the wheelhouse of workflow. Like that is workflow's bread and butter, is catching those errors before they hit your important production systems.
So this server is a separate server?
The automate server is, so yes,
But I mean, do all the pieces of automate sit on one system?
as of right now, yes. That we were trying to design it to be more service oriented, such that if you wanted to, you could break them up. But it comes as an omnibus package with everything that you need, so you can just install it and go. And I'll offer probably in the future more complex installation options. But yeah, right now everything is on the box, and then you can go.
So the inspect is also on this server?
Yes.
Stop there.
Do you have an AMI of it yet?
No. Not that no.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been building some AMIs internally for demo purposes and stuff. I
I do the compliance one.
don't know if we've published anything yet, but
So not yet.
probably not.
Cool. I think I saw some questions in the back. Yeah.
I just had another one. What would be so for the previous question that was asked about everything kind of being packaged together, can you actually integrate existing Chef server instances into it, or do you actually have to run automate fully in one stack?
So I'm going to provide an answer, and you can let me know if it's the answer, if it answers your question. Automate, the visibility side of Automate can work independently of a Chef server. So it can receive data from any number of Chef servers. Automate itself requires a single Chef server in order to operate. And that Chef server is its own standalone instance. So As part of the Automate installation, you need a Chef server as of right now. But visibility can collect data from any number of Chef servers.
Okay, so I could have existing chef servers, but I would just need that one chef instance that would be coupled with.
The Automate install. Yes. But you can use an existing Chef server as part of that. It just needs that so that for the workflow side, it uses search and all that kind of stuff for the back end on the workflow side of things. But yeah.
So how does it integrate then with those existing, like if I had some other chef instances that are not part of that ecosystem, do I just send it to the API?
Yep, they're in the Chef Server RB configuration. You input the similar data collector configuration that you were doing for your Chef clients, and the data that the Chef Server sends to analytics, like all of your CRUD operations and all that kind of stuff, then gets sent to visibility.
Is there a minimum server version requirement for that?
There is. I don't know it off the top of my head.
What time series views do you have for reporting? Like, do you have a report that encompasses an entire year of activity, potentially?
If you've been streaming the data to us, then yeah.
Can you show something that has like a long amount of data, what that looks like?
I mean, I can't hear. I'm not in this mock-up now.
Do you have a slide, maybe, of what it looks like?
No.
I think the specifics of that, there are complexities that come with that amount of data, and that's something that I know we were working on. So that's the goal is, yes, to provide time, like be able to view what has happened over a period of time. So we just haven't quite nailed that down yet.
On that topic, can I like set data retention internally, or do I have to manage that?
Yeah, so the backend we're using makes it really easy to drop or export data if you don't want it on the local Elasticsearch cluster. So basically with Elasticsearch, if you want to either ship it to Amazon Glacier or put it somewhere else when you're done with it because it's out of a time window, it's very simple to do that. Or you can just say, clean it up, I don't want it anymore.
Yeah, at a technical level, each day, we have Elasticsearch indices for each day. So you can archive days of like Elasticsearch days or clean them up. There's nothing built into it right now that's like that will automatically delete it. So right now that would be a external step, but it's really easy to do.
You expect to have like a data retention setting?
Yeah, I think we're
Probably.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely be adding a lot around data retention policies, both at the what data do I really care about, which we anticipate will be different for different customers, and then also the how long do I care about it for.
Yeah, and there's a lot of complexity in there because we have to support a lot of different retention policies and different types of retention policies. So we want to make sure we get that right so that we don't end up forcing you into a retention policy that you don't or can't follow.
So that has been put at the top of my list. Sorry, the question was when will habitat data be in the system? And that is on the top of my list of things to achieve in Q3. So stay tuned.
Is the data that you're storing in Elasticsearch exposed through an API that is the main value proposition, or is it this UI that is the value proposition? Because if the API was the value proposition, maybe you could point a different UI at that API to create reports in the way that maybe the customer wanted to if they had a web team.
Yeah, and that's something we have. Yeah, that's something we've been discussing. Sort of, what would the export method look like for people who want to either have regular reports sent to certain systems, either via an API, via email, like whatever that would look like, is something that we're investigating. We do want to be API first as far as just allowing people to easily integrate with our backend and build out whatever they want to build out. And so for the short term, if you want a very specific report with certain data fields in it, you can do that using Kibana, where all of the events that we're capturing are there. You can organize, sort them however you want to, and create your own visualizations and lists. But then we do plan to add that into the product and make it very easy to do.
And kind of taking a little bit further, the value proposition is you'll always have unfettered access to the raw data that we collect. And then what we do is we have our own data processing pipeline where we process that raw data in ways that we anticipate are helpful for you, and then we provide visualizations on that data so that you can really quickly and easily understand that.
So, I'll try not to monopolize this, but that processing pipeline,
Mm-hmm.
if you're going to make the API the value proposition, it seems like that pipeline would push the data back into Elasticsearch.
It does.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, and if anybody wants like more like one-on-one conversation about the product, we do have the product suite downstairs from 4 to 5. If you want to kind of tell us about your use case and talk through it, it's room 407.
Back to the notion of how big the indexes get.
Mhm.
Do you guys have a set of guidelines around how much data a single node generates in a day that would help with the capacity one?
That's a wide range, because you could, if you're someone who runs like a maintenance run list once a day, or if you're someone that runs full suites, every 30 minutes, we haven't been able to do that level of capacity analysis yet. Internally, we haven't really outgrown our installation yet, which is a moderately sized installation with the 12 or 20 nodes that we have. But we haven't had a chance to do that yet. I'm sure that we'll probably offer some sort of capacity planning, because I've built systems like that before. That's a very important part of it. We just haven't had enough time to do that process yet.
Cool, yeah, in the back.
How large is your instance for your 12 to 20 nodes in this space?
I think we're on an M2 something XL on Amazon with, no wait, sorry. That's a completely different one. I have no idea. It's actually relatively small.
Terabytes,
Gigabytes. Gigabytes. We are still sub gigabytes.
Yeah.
So, I've been hearing start over. So, this is the replacement for analytics, is one way to put it. But this is obviously a much different product. Can you talk about maybe the top 5 things in the gap analysis between the two? What are the RBAC, don't have that yet. That should be on the list.
Yeah, analytics doesn't have RBAC.
Well, that's inherited from the organizations.
Yeah, so basically this is the next generation of our approach to analytics. And so as we look at this, how is it significantly the next step for us? The first piece of that is that it allows us to get all of your data in one place, whereas analytics and manage are both one chef server to one installation of the analytics platform. And so that's a pretty big deal, because you don't want to have segregated data all over the place. You want one place where you can see all of your data and be able to programmatically understand what is the health of my infrastructure as code. Next, we have basically added significantly more richer data from the sources that we're collecting it from. Yeah.
Okay. So we've got 12 chef servers globally.
Mm-hmm.
Salute.
Yeah.
But instead of
Mhm. I mean, the main feature that we currently don't have that analytics has is rules and notifications. And so we have the data tap, which is a fire hose of data, but then actually sorting that out and sending it to a specific endpoint is not there yet. So that is what we are trying to figure out exactly what people want out of that tool. We weren't really happy in retrospect with the rules and notifications engine of analytics. We think it was too difficult to use, and so a lot of people weren't using it to its full potential, and it was really easy to get way too many notifications to the point that they weren't maybe useful anymore. So we are looking at exactly how we want to do rules and notifications and what that looks like, and that kind of ties into an earlier question someone was asking, which was, how do I get the data from here to people who need a report, for example? And then what does that look like? And that's something that we're really looking into. I think that was the API question. But basically, is it an API? Can I just take this data programmatically every now and then and shoot it to another system? And that's one thing we're looking at. We're looking at perhaps a scheduled email report of your own choosing on a regular basis. But we're just sort of playing with different ideas and presenting them to customers and then seeing what will fit that use case in the best possible way, but also in a significantly more user-friendly way. And then the other big thing we have around rules and notifications is the problem with analytics was that everyone could edit the rules and notifications if they had access to analytics. And that means that you might want your developers to be able to write a rule and notification just for the servers they care about, but you don't want them to be able to delete your operations core rules and notifications that you super care about. So those are all use cases that we have in mind as we figure out exactly what we're going to deliver. Yeah. Cool. In the back?
Let's say I have a small company and would like to be part of that feature building process. How do I get feedback to you?
Yeah, Tasha at chef.io. Yeah. I mean, I am very open to being on customer calls. Mark and I think that a significant part of our job, and Christoph as well, is talking to customers, getting feedback before we build stuff and while we're building stuff, just to make sure that we're really hitting the nail on the head when we deliver it.
So if I was a person at a company that's small, I would say, I want to be part of this. So I just email you and I say, I want to be part of this.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. In the back, was there someone? Okay, stretching. Yeah.
So delivery to workflows looks like a seamless upgrade. As much as put it in the same package manner. This looks like a total rework. How would we go about getting the existing invoice data into?
Yeah, so while Elasticsearch is amazingly elastic, and we anticipate that you could do a migration from the back end of analytics into this, we have not productized that right now. Yeah.
So we won't see the same package manner that we used for inside some.
No. Cool. Any other questions? Well, as you may know from Barry's presentation earlier, you can go and download a free trial of this and give it a shot on our website, chef.io. And we also have some tutorials that will take you through using this if you want to check it out. But, it's a new product. We are eagerly awaiting feedback and, just kind of seeing where it goes and how people want to use it. So, the more communication, the better. We're really interested in what you think, and we will be delivering a lot of new, awesome features pretty soon. So, give it a shot. Let us know what you think.
Come talk to us in 407.
Mark said, come talk to us in 407. Yeah. Cool. Thank you.